Stephanie Milky here, aka KetoMOM, or often called mom, sis, Steffi, daughter, wife, aunt, and friend. Just like many of you, I carry a lot of titles. My favorite title is mom. I should probably say wife, which takes a lot of my time. But let's be honest, if you want to do something and do it well, you will make the time for it. Commitment is hard because we find ourselves overcommitted, but when you practice prioritizing, you will find out what is actually important and what you can let go. With the KetoMOM podcast, you will learn together how to manage our time, commit to the most important things in life, and I will equip you with the tools you need to feel qualified each step of the way. My name is Stephanie Milky, and welcome to the KetoMOM Secrets podcast. Good morning. Welcome to the KetoMOM page. My name is Stephanie. I'm shaking up my mom fuel. We are going through this book called Dream It, Pin It, Live It. I have another action for you. But as you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? I am tuning in from Florida. If you're brand new, I would love to get to know you. So tell me you're new below and we can chat. And how was everybody's Thanksgiving? If you worked on Thanksgiving, my parents are in the medical field. So, or if you work on Thanksgiving, thank you for working. And the question really should be, did you go shopping on Black Friday? We went to a couple of stores. I shared this in my live yesterday. We went to a couple of stores, but they were not busy, and I've realized most people shop online. So, are you an online shopper or are you an in-person shopper? I am shaking up my mom fuel, which is buy two, get one free. And it's delicious and it's amazing. And it's delicious. All right. Normally you see me shaking up packs. These are one and the same. This one's just a little bit more sour. This one is, somebody knocked on our door. Who is that? That's weird. Huh. She's dropping something off, but she doesn't look like my mailman. All right. That was so awkward. And I never have my window open so I could see her. Anyways, I have a package at the door. More sour, more sweet. They do the same. They put you in ketosis in under 1 hour. These are my favorite because they're a little bit more tart. It tastes just like a freshly squeezed orange. So anyways, if you've never tried ketones, we should chat post-trial in the comments. Okay. Here's what we're doing. First of all, if you are creating a vision board with me, you should say me below. I want to know. Or drop a 1 in the chat. If you're creating a vision board with me, drop a 1. Put a 1. If you're here and you don't want to create a vision board, it's okay. But here's what we're doing. I want to help people understand the power of a vision board and setting goals and setting SMART goals and actually just believing that you can do it, right? So here's what we're doing. I've already gone through chapters 1 and 2. And basically, well, we're on chapter 3. But if you've been following along, I have the other lives. We can go find them for you. In the very beginning, all she talked about was, not all, but the importance of a vision board. How most people don't write things down. There's like 1% of people, I think she talks about it in chapter 3 too, to where if you actually write things down, you will find yourself having more success than anybody else simply because you wrote it down and it's in front of you. So my question to you is, what do you want for this next year? So the action, if you've been following along, if you haven't, I'm going to give you the easiest, simplest action to get started. And I didn't make it to 100. But one of the first things was make a list of 100 things that you want to do, right? Nothing is off limits. Nothing's too small. Nothing is too big. So you get out a notebook and you just write anything. You want to pay off debt. You want to take your kids on a date. You want to go visit the Bahamas. You want a new washing machine and dryer. You want to write a book. You want to whatever. It doesn't matter. Right? So the first thing that you do is get a notebook, and the goal is to write 101. 101. Anything. This isn't your vision board. This isn't like you're going to focus on all of these things. It's just to get it out of you. It's to help you brainstorm. It's to help you remember. It's to help you just imagine. It's to help you dream. How many of you have done this? If you have done your 101 things, you should put a 2 in the chat. So I started, hi babe, I've only made it to 38. I've only made it to 38. So I'm going to get there. Last year, I think I made it to 67. Listen, the point is just to get stuff out of you, because the next action comes in chapter 3. So first action step, get out a notebook and write down all of the things that you want to have or be or do or go. Have, be, do, go. Anything. There's nothing off limits. All right? Are you going to participate? Here's chapter 3. We're diving in. Okay. You don't have to, and just so you know, I love that. You don't have to write 101 things. The point is just to get you, like I may just stop at 38. I actually know the things that I'm going to focus on this year. It's like a brain dump, right? It's kind of like, well, if nothing's off limits, then this is what I'm going to write. So it's okay that you don't have 101. What we're going to focus on is just imagining and dreaming and having fun with that. So chapter 3. And so this is what you're going to do after you're done writing. You don't have to get there. Setting your next 10 top goals. So in the very beginning, I love how she says this. She says, Brian Tracy says one of his favorite exercises is to imagine it's December 31st. So you can imagine that right now. Imagine it's December 31st and he looks back over the year and he says enthusiastically, this has been the most amazing year of my life. What would have to happen in order for you to say something that bold? This has been the most amazing year of my life. So let's say it's this time next year, 2024. What would have to happen in 2024 for you to say, this has been the most amazing year of my life? So she gives a lot of statistics about how many people don't write down goals. And really it boils down to 1% of people in the world actually write down their goals. They create vision boards, they put it in front of them, and they stick to them. Do you think those people are probably successful? And listen, everybody has a different understanding, or how would I say that? A different version of what success even looks like. Just in general, they hit their goals. Most likely, the importance of setting goals is not particularly a new concept. However, this is my favorite part of this little chapter. What's easy to do. So this might be easy for you to do, writing down 101 things. It might be easy for you to think about, I want to lose 50 pounds, or I want to get out of debt, or I want to. It's easy. It might be easy for you just to sit there for a second and go, I've got 5 goals. It's also easy not to do. It's easy to do and it's easy not to do. If you want to be successful, you have to set goals and you need to write them down. So they've discovered that here's the statistics. That 80% of Americans don't have any goals. 16% have goals, but they don't write them down. 3% have goals, they write them down, but they don't review them. And only 1%, in fact, millionaires had goals, they wrote them down, and they reviewed them on a consistent basis. You cannot reach your full potential without goals. So she's talking financially. All right, you will achieve your goals 10 times faster and get with greater probability if you're absolutely crystal clear on what you want. So we're going to dive into some of the next actions you have. So you've got 101 things, or 38, or 27, or 12. Or the point is you get a notebook out and you just write. Now, this is where it can get a little... So for example, this was super great. Our girls are doing this. We have 4 daughters. If you're brand new and you don't know that, I am a homeschool mom. We have 4 girls. They're 16, 14, 12, and 10. Now, our 12-year-old was making her vision board yesterday. All of the girls are. And she came and she showed my husband her board. And he's like, hey, that's so great They're doing it on Canva. They're creating, they're writing it down. And this is what he said. He goes, I love that you have those pictures on your board. But her board was something similar to this. She didn't have make $1 million, but I'm going to read something to you. She goes, here's a mistake people can make when they're writing out their goals. I want to make $1 million. I want to lose 50 pounds, or I want to lose 100 pounds. I'm going to write a book, or I'm going to write 4 books. I'm going to drive a new Porsche. I'm going to say $500,000 this year. And so people will just write these things down. Like Eliza had pictures of things, but not actually, let me back up a little bit. Eliza had some great things on her board. Actually, I'm going to share this first. The mistake that some people make is they pick goals that are not SMART goals. They pick goals that are like, can you actually do that this year? I believe somebody in 2024 could lose 50 pounds. But could somebody in 2024 make $1 million? Maybe. But could they write 4 books? Possibly. Could they save $500,000 into their savings account? What she's going to say is this. I don't want you to just write down some crazy goal that you really are like, it's out there. All of these goals. We're going to walk you through what SMART goals are. Do you guys know what SMART stands for? So what Eliza did was she wrote things like, I want to save. Okay, hold on. I feel like I'm all over the place. All right. What Eliza did is she had great pictures, but she needed to create them to be a SMART goal. So my husband coached her on this very thing. He goes, here's what you need to do, Eliza. Look at each picture that you have. And he goes, what I want you to do is I want you to get specific. So I want you to write down, like, is it measurable? When are you going to achieve it? What does it actually look like? If you want to be stronger, how many times are you going to lift weights? Does this make sense? So here's what SMART stands for. And you can write this down because you're going to create, out of that 101 things, you're going to write down 10 of the things you want to achieve in 2024. They need to be specific. So for example, you must bring clarity to what you want. So I will save more money this year. It's not very specific. I will save $5,000 by December 31st, 2024. That's specific. Or measurable. This is where it can truly measure whether you hit or not hit the goal. I want to lose weight. That's probably a majority of the people on here's a goal. Here's an example that will be more measurable. I will weigh 120 pounds by May 15th. I will weigh whatever it is by a certain time. That's measurable. Action oriented. Use action words. I will be more consistent with my exercise. Or I will exercise 5 days a week. You want to get specific. You want it to be measurable. You want it to be action oriented. You want it to be realistic. So if your goals are too big, you will set yourself up to fail. She goes, I encourage you to set goals that stretch you and cause you to grow, but also are obtainable. So I will save $50,000 by May 31st this year, or I will save 10% of my current salary this year. And then lastly, there's a timeline. Deadlines are motivating. Always establish a when or a date. Have you guys ever heard the SMART goals? In the header of this video or in the comments, I'll just write up SMART and a very simple what it means. But the point of what we're going to do next, and then she goes on and tells a ton of stories. Here's your action after you did 101 things. Take 10 things that you want to that you're probably going to put on your board for this next year, 2024. I want you to take 10 things. And it might not be exactly that. Some of you are like, I don't even know but I just want you to get down and sit down and start writing things out. 10 goals that you can obtain or achieve. SMART goals, what we just talked about, over the next 12 to 18 months. For the next 30 days, you're going to write these 10 goals out once a day. You're going to write them out in present tense. You're going to write them down each day without looking back at what you wrote. She goes, what you're going to realize is you're going to review the SMART techniques. And as you listen and as you think about it, you're going to joyfully exclaim that this has been the most amazing year of your life. So just like in the beginning of the book, how she said, could you stand next year? What would your life have to look like if you, at this time, this very day, 2024, said, this was the most amazing year of my life? What would you want to see, do, have, be, do? I said that. So take your 101 or your 38 or your 12 or your 25 things, get it down to 10 realistic goals, and you're going to write them out. Now, I'm not going to stop going through this book because I'm going to start creating my board. So this might be like, if you've never done this before, you might want to take the next 30 days and write it down. What she's going to do is she says, sometimes people write things down and then they, in the next 5 days, they forgot about it and they realize they actually didn't want it. So it's going to help you kind of tweak things. It's going to help you go, I actually don't really want that. What do you really want to go after? What do you really want to achieve? I was listening to a podcast the other day, and one of my favorite mentors was coaching somebody, and he shared he had somebody that was like, man, I don't know why I'm not achieving this goal. It was a business goal. He's like, I don't know why I'm not achieving this goal. I don't know why I haven't reached this specific, I don't want to say status. It was like a position in his job. And the man was like, well, have you written it down? Hey, like, do you actually know what it takes to achieve that goal? Like, he walked him through all these questions, and the man that kept saying he was frustrated with himself finally sat back and he goes, no, I haven't written it down. I haven't figured out what it's going to take for me to get there. And so the mentor said, do you actually really want it? Do you physically really want what you think that you want? And they kind of went back and forth, and he was like, no, I actually don't, because he realized that if he wrote it down, it would be a ton of work. It would take more time away from his family. Like, he thought he wanted the job promotion, but in reality, he actually didn't. He was like, when I sit back and I look at that goal that I thought I wanted because it was in my mind, when I sit down and write it down and look at everything that it takes, he goes, I actually am not willing to give up the other things that I have. Does that make sense? So the point of that 30 days is when you're writing out these 10 things, or maybe you do it for a week or a couple weeks, when you're writing those things down, is it still exciting after you're writing it? Can you write it down and go, I'm willing to put in the work to get there. I'm willing to do this to get to where I want to go. Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to do the SMART, make it a SMART goal? Because yes, it has to be obtainable, but you have to actually want to do it and put in the work to get there. So you've got 101 things. If you haven't done it, you've got 101 things, or just start writing, start creating, start dreaming, start imagining, and get to where you can get. And then we're going to narrow it down to 10 things, and you're going to start writing it out. So, and then we'll dive into tomorrow. Actually, we won't do tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. We'll dive in on Monday. We'll start designing your boards, talking about what that looks like. And if you have questions, you can send me a message, or I think sometimes we can overthink this. What do you want 2024 to look like? And what I do is I break it up, and here's the last thing I'll say. I break it up into different areas of my life. So what mine looks like, or what it's going to look like, it's going to be like, do I have a spiritual goal, physical goals, like my health, financial goals, relationship goals? Do I have work goals? And what I'm going to do is write those out. I like to call it the full circle. And I'm going to pick things in those, making sure they're SMART goals, making sure they're achievable, and then putting action behind them. And it's going to be great. So if you have questions, reach out. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Your presence matters. I did shake up my ketones for those who popped on late. We do still have buy two, get one free. And then we have brand new 40% off Tangerine Dragon today. We have a lot of fun promos. So if you've never tried them, reach out, post sale in the comments, and we'll chat. You can always go to KetoMOM.com. KetoMOM.com. Go grab your ketones. Reach out with questions. I hope you have an amazing morning, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.